Hey, what is going on, everybody? East Tactics here, and welcome to my official BEC install video. Now, this BEC install video could be for pretty much any RC, but this is for a 6S Arrma Kraton, whether you're doing it for a crawler or for whatever. So check this out. Well, first let me point out, these guards have been absolutely amazing. Check out this video if you want to get the details. As you can see, there's no damage on my body, but these have taken a beating. Anyway, so let me go ahead and show you what the BEC install officially looks like. I have completed it. So if you look here, check it out. You can see I've only got one set of wires now going back to my ESC instead of the 2-wire combo for 3S batteries. Let me go ahead and remove this. Okay, now if you look down in here, you can see I've got 2 wires that are coming out of my receiver box that are being spliced into my power terminals. Now you might be asking yourself, what is the reason for having a BEC or an external BEC? Because all ESCs actually come with an internal BEC that's currently running in your vehicle. Now, the reason why you would consider getting an external BEC is if your vehicle is not running 7.4 volts through the system, specifically to your servo. Now, your servo, when it comes stock, is, believe it or not, it's if you're running the V4, if you got the V4 stock like I did, the BLX 185, you're only running like 200 ounces to your servo of torque. 200 ounces is absolutely low, considering what at the end of the day I'm going to be explaining to you. What you're going to want to have is over 600 ounces of torque. Now, if you're running the BLX 185 and you're running the stock servo, then hands down, first thing you need to do is just upgrade your servo to a better servo. And the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that your servo saver down here is not sucking up your steering by being too loose. The best way, and this is actually crucial, if you are noticing that you're getting plenty of steering or your servo is, pushing even in like grass, if it's pushing from here and butting all the way up against that little notch right there, then you know that your servo is basically strong enough. And you can check down in here and you can look at your servo saver, and if that thing is just splitting open, then your servo saver is basically absorbing a ton of the steering that could be presented to your tires. So first thing you're going to want to do is go in there and tighten up your servo saver. I've got a video all about doing that. In fact, in this video, I go in and I add 2 snap rings to my servo saver. I actually, if I were to go back and do it again, I would put 3 snap rings in, tighten it up even a little bit more. So anyway, make sure that your servo saver, because it doesn't matter if you've got a ton of torque. If your servo saver is just eating it up, then it's pointless. So your servo saver cannot be too loose. The next thing you're going to want to do so that you can maximize that servo is run 7.4 volts to it. Now, if you have the V5 or one of the newer Arrma Kratons with the Spectrum ESC and the Spectrum servo, then you do not need to worry about installing an external BEC. However, what I will tell you is that the stock servo that comes with the V5, the Spectrum servo, only is running like 256 ounces of torque. It's like 50 ounces more than the old stock servo. So that is really low, considering, again, at the end of this video, you're going to be seeing how you can run over 600 ounces of torque. So if you're running the V5, then I highly recommend you picking up a new servo. So the real question is, how do you get to that 7.4 volts? And that is, if you're running the old stuff, you need to get an external BEC. And so today, I'm going to show you how to install an external BEC, and I'm going to tell you which BEC I recommend you pick up, as well as which servo you should pick up to complement that Now, if you have the V5, you don't need to worry about the BEC install. However, I still highly recommend you upgrading your servo. Now, back in the day, now you'll notice right now, I'm running a Savox SW1210SG, which is compatible with 7.4 volts. And so I will be able to take advantage of increasing the stock amount. However, if you look at the specs for the Savox SW1210SG, it goes from like 278 ounces at 6 volts to 444, which is a dramatic increase, and it's going to be a well-welcomed improvement. However, you're going to spend about $85 for this servo, where you can spend an additional $30 and get a next level grade servo and literally jump your torque all the way, or your ounces of torque all the way up from 444 to like over 600, upward towards 650 ounces of torque. Now, why would you want to have that much torque presented to your tires? Well, the simple answer is the more the merrier, especially if down the road you end up getting beefier tires. But even if you're running just the stock tires for your vehicle, if you're sitting in tall grass, or if you're sitting on, any sort of a terrain that just has higher friction, it dramatically decreases your ability to turn. And so in tall grass or in those situations, you just want to simply have the highest amount of torque possible that you can have going to that servo. And so if you're only going to need to spend another $30, why not almost double, going from 444 up to 650? Why not spend $30 more? And so I'm actually, back in the day, I've always kind of been happy to recommend this Savox SW1210SG, and it still is a good servo, especially if you're running it at the 7.4 volts. However, today I'm actually going to recommend you either pick up the Savox 1212 or you pick up this Power Hobby 760. So that's why I'm going to recommend this like upper echelon of servos. This is why you're going to want to install an external BEC. So basically what you want to do when you install a BEC is you want to first determine where to put the BEC. And in my case, I originally was going to put the BEC on the external side right here of the receiver box because it's a waterproof BEC. Since then, I found that the EXB came out with this larger receiver box. So I was like, you know what, I'll go ahead and pick up the larger receiver box so that I can put both my BEC and my receiver in the same box. And what's nice is this BEC, while it is $40, is waterproof. So it's a little bit more expensive, although it is highly regarded and it's super good quality, and this is the one I do recommend. You could kind of look around and go a little bit cheaper, because but then you'd end up having to buy the box so that you can put it in the box, if that makes sense. Otherwise, I would go with the external BEC that I'm recommending right here. And if you choose to put it in the box or put it on the outside of the box, it's your call. Either way, basically all you need to have is your red and black wire coming out. I am gonna end up having to take the cap back off and pulling the BEC from the receiver, and then plugging it into this right here, and then plugging this right here. Actually, if you look along the side, you can see there's a mini USB right there. So I'll plug that into the computer and I'll show you this, but then I'm gonna up the volts to 7.4 volts. But right now I've got to take care of the wiring job, which completely jacked up wire there, and it's a completely jacked up wire there. What's interesting is, this little thing right here, this whole section that branches off right here, isn't even required unless you're running 2 3S batteries. Since I run one single 6S battery, and to be honest with you, it's probably what I'll always do, I'm going to just snip this and just completely get rid of this. So then in the process of fixing this, I will solder this to the red wire and this to the black wire. This side is red. See the red line indicating this side is red. This is black. So right here I'm going to be putting on 2 two different sizes because I'm going to have two cases where I'm going to want to have this stuff slide over. One right here and then also right here. Kind of get it out of the way, because if you don't do this early, you'll forget. There's nothing worse than getting everything soldered together and realizing you forgot to put your heat shrink on. Instead of using these two sizes right here, which are just barely big enough to go over the thing, I would definitely go with this size, which is a lot bigger, about 14 millimeters wide, or even what I did and basically slide, but you want to go with the thicker ones. So these are 14 millimeters, these ones are about 18 millimeters, and do that concept I did. Instead of the sizes I used, use these two sizes. All right, 3 of them are on. By the way, you can pick up this on Amazon, and I'll have it in the master link. Just scroll a bit and you'll find it eventually. Sort of a long list, but all the products and stuff that I use are in the master link in the description. Look for master link parts and then scroll and you'll come across all the stuff. Here's the flux. Okay, now this is super important. See the plus sign? No. Make sure that this side that's got the flat edge goes to the positive wire. It's absolutely crucial. Flat edge, positive wire. Double and triple check that. Definitely don't want to solder these on backwards. Do the opposite of twist it, kind of just fan it out a bit, like so. These two things together to solder them. So the next thing that you're going to want to do, as soon as you've got this stuff all soldered together, is you're going to want to remove the red wire from your ESC. Now your ESC is, in the case of the BLX 185, I can see right here that it's black, red, and white. And so currently in my receiver box, I have my ESC plugged in and I have my Servo plugged in. Servo will always be plugged into slot number 1, and your ESC is plugged into slot number 2. So I'm gonna get my Servo out of the way, unplug it. So there is my ESC plugged in. I'm gonna go ahead and unplug it, which again, it goes in slot 2. And what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna want to remove the red wire. Now, it's your choice how you want to remove it, if you want to snip it, or if you want to actually pull it out. I feel like I'm probably just going to be lazy and I'm going to snip it. As you can see, I snipped the red wire. I'm going to just pull on the rubber to extend it. So now you don't see. It's probably gonna be hard to see, but since I pulled on the rubber, you don't see anything sticking out right there. And I did the same thing on that one. So basically, if down the road I ever need to reconnect those, whatever, I'll solder them together. But that's kind of my lazy way of disconnecting the red wire. If you want, you can actually take and press on the middle prong and pull it out and then, you know, find a place to hide it. But now, I'm gonna go ahead and plug back in my servo. Now we're going to, and it doesn't really matter which spots you plug these into. You'll notice that there's metal on one side. It's not on the other. So if you check the way your servo and your ESC are plugged in, just make sure that the metal is always facing the same direction. So just one thing to kind of note. Now we're ready to go ahead and plug in the Castle link. So we're gonna go ahead and plug in the USB cord into the Castle link. And now if you look, you'll notice that there's a negative sign, a positive sign, and a little U shape. That's the gray one or the brown one, that's negative. The middle one's positive, and the other one is the orange one is the U shape. So when you plug it in, you want it to be like this. All right, so you do not want the vehicle to be on, you do not want it to be plugged in, you just want to basically plug the Castle link in, and you'll notice when it's plugged into the computer, you'll get a green light. Again, it is unplugged. All right, so I've got my computer here. I don't believe you can do this on a Mac. I think you have to do it on an actual PC, computer, laptop. Then you're gonna go to the website here, www.casualcreations.com/downloads. So let's do that real quick. Don't know why caps is on. Current Castle Link version is 3.82. Release date 4/2/21. Download. So you can see it downloading here in the corner. It's 23 megabytes. Do you want to allow the app from an unknown publisher? Yes. All right, welcome to the Castle Link Setup Wizard. Setup Wizard will install Castle Link on your computer. Click Next to continue. Next. I accept. Hit Next. It says here, select file association. Select the extensions you want associated with Castle Link. Please select the file types you want to automatically open with Castle Link. Okay, there's only one option, so I guess select it. Hit Next. Okay, this is gonna install to this folder. Would you like it to go to this folder? Sure. Yes, I would like it to create a desktop icon. And do I want it to be in the Start Menu Programs folder? No. I just want it to add an icon to the desktop because I'm probably gonna use this one time ever. Next. Install. All right, completing the Castle Link Wizard, it's finished. I'm gonna go ahead and click the Launch Castle Link button. Otherwise, if you don't do that, it'll be on your desktop, so I'll go ahead and minimize this. And there it is right there. But when I hit finish, it'll automatically open now. All right, so now we're going to go into basic. Currently it's set at 5.25 volts. It doesn't look like there is an option for 7.4 volts. Oh, custom. There we go. Custom. We're gonna go to yes. So when you go past 6 volts, you have an output voltage greater than 6 volts. It gives you a warning. Go ahead and just hit OK. And then we're gonna go up to 7.4, 7.5, what? Can I manually type in a 4? There we go. 7.4, manually typed in. All right, now we're gonna click Update. I'm gonna hit OK. So we are going to close this and just reopen it and see what it's detecting, just to make sure the 7.4 volts stuck. Now if I go to basic, changed it to 7.25. I'm gonna hit OK, and I'm gonna go 7.5. Then I'm going to update it. Say OK. Now we're gonna close the castle link, and we are going to reopen. Maybe 7.4 is not an option. Let's go to basic. All right, 7.5. We're gonna try one more time, 7.4. Update. Okay, update. And then we're going to close it and reopen. It's connected, basic. Yeah, for whatever reason, it doesn't like 7.4 exactly. So I'm gonna layer on the high side and go to 7.5 and then update it. All right, we should be good. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and unplug it. Plug it in. My controller is currently still on. Go ahead and plug it in. Vehicle's on. All right, and that is how you wire up and install the external BEC. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and run some tests. Anyway, guys, thanks again for watching my videos. Make sure you check the description for links to all the products and if you're needing anything. Also, if you haven't already, hit the like button for me and subscribe to my channel if you're new to my channel. East Tactics, out.